This episode of Talkin' About Rock is sponsored by Unleash Music. Drawing on years of experience, contacts, and partnerships, Unleash Music is uniquely positioned to platform, develop, and realize the vision of artists of all genres. Achieve your goals by partnering with Unleash Music and take advantage of their decades of experience to help you create and execute your marketing campaign. Visit unleashmusic.com for more info.
On this episode of Talking About Rock, Nina DiGregorio. Hello, welcome to this episode of Talking About Rock. I'm your host, Rob Edwards. Here we bring you rock interviews from veteran and upcoming artists. Subscribe on our YouTube channel to stay up to date. Follow us on our social media and our website, talkingaboutrock.com. Today we have with us a classically trained violinist and vocalist. She is most well known for being an innovative performer on the electric rock violin. Please welcome Nina DiGregorio to the show. Hello, Nina. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So you've definitely become a rock viral internet sensation as of late, but you originally started, you were going to be a sax player from what I was reading.
That's true. When I was young, I wanted to play saxophone. I was really into roots of rock and roll music.
And you're originally from the Western New York area, from Lewiston, I believe you grew up in, right?
Yep. Born and raised in Lewiston, New York, and I went to college at the University at Buffalo and lived in Buffalo for a while before moving to Las Vegas.
Yeah, and for all those folks out there that think of Buffalo, no, it's not 100 feet of snow all the time. We do have struggling sports teams, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about music. So, like you were saying, you planned a trip with your parents, I think, to Las Vegas, but you're originally going to go to Columbia for some creative writing, right?
Well, I was thinking about applying to Columbia for creative writing, or I was also thinking about going to medical school. I have an English degree, I have a music degree, and I was also taking pre-med tracking when I was in college. I wanted to be a neurosurgeon when I was younger. As long as I could remember, I wanted to be a doctor. And by fate should have it, I was offered a job playing in Wayne Newton's orchestra in Las Vegas when I was in college. And so I moved out to Las Vegas and thinking I'd just be here a few years and then go back and do whatever I wanted to do with graduate school. Right. And I ended up staying here, getting a master's degree in violin performance, and then basically becoming a professional musician at that point.
Right. And I think you also, when you were out there, you also joined the AFM local and just starting meeting all the musicians in the area, basically, right?
Yes, I did. I had one friend who was a violinist whose father was actually from Niagara Falls. And when I moved out here, everyone told me I had to look her up because she was a local string contractor. And so we made friends right away. We had similar senses of humor, and she's since passed away from a fairly young illness, but she really helped me get started and meet a lot of people in this town.
Oh, we're so sorry to hear that for your loss there. But you created and produced a rock promotion show called the Fems of Rock, which was amazing. When I heard about this when I was out there, and I didn't get a chance to see it, I have family out in Vegas, and they're like, "You've got to go to this show. You got to check it out." You know, I wouldn't have thought, like, rock violin. You wouldn't have thought, but it is an amazing production show you guys are putting on.
Yes, I started this show based off of the idea of trying to make my violin sound like my favorite guitar players that I listened to all the time that I was growing up. I was really into classic rock music and prog music and metal music, and specifically guitar players. So I spent a lot of time trying to create sounds and learn different techniques on the electric violin to really take it to the next level of sounding like and doing the same techniques that a guitar player would, not just playing their solo on a violin and sounding like a violin, but playing their solo on a violin and sounding like a guitar, which isn't as easy to do as the previous.
Yeah, definitely got a great sound coming out from that. And you've played with some classic rock artists from Cheap Trick, Deep Purple, Bad Company. I mean, the list goes on and on. I was reading you also performed at Rock Fantasy Camp with Kip Winger and Todd Rundgren also.
That's right. We did one of Kip Winger's original pieces. I got to perform with him on that, and with Todd Rundgren, we actually did an arrangement of that I wrote of "Strawberry Fields Forever" and accompanied him, and he sang that. So that was really cool. I'm definitely a big fan of all the rockers. So
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, and Kip was great when we had him on the show, and he has so many classic roots, and I think he's going to get back to that a little bit more and come out with some more classical music. But just an outstanding musician, also definitely very very cool. But we know you had to put a stopgap kind of between the performances there because the pandemic hit. You know, Fems of Rock couldn't book. Nobody could book shows. You know what I mean? So you started posting a lot of social media, a lot of amazing things. I'm seeing your videos probably a couple times a day. Probably one of the most well-known one is the eruption video that you got going on, and Crazy Train. Those seem to be making the rounds and excellent. I just love it.
yeah, I would say Eruption, Crazy Train was a big one for me. And then also my husband and I did a two-person cover of Rush's song Limelight, and that's gotten quite a bit of traction as well. A lot of people will travel in for my shows just because of our Rush covers that we've done. People have come in from Ottawa, Canada, and driven, 9 hours to come see us perform in the States just because of some of those covers. So it's really flattering that people think so much of them. And I like you mentioned, I have to thank the pandemic for that, because I never would have thought to make these videos if it weren't for us being at home all the time.
Yeah, that's why we started this podcast, just to let everybody know, this pandemic was going to end, and we got to get out there and support these musicians and these venues, and just get that going on. But like you were saying with the Rush songs, they are diehard, man. Those Rush fans are definitely hardcore. If you have a great Rush band or a Rush act, they're going to be out there, definitely.
I like them though, because they are knowledgeable and they are polite compared to a lot of other fans of other bands, the diehards, and they know their stuff. So they don't come on there and be like, you suck just for the sake of saying that. They really know the music, and they know if we've put the thought into trying to do the music justice, and they're just knowledgeable about that. So we appreciate their fans.
Yeah, definitely. The Rush fans are a musician's fan base. For sure. Yeah. They're all about the technical and the prog, you know what I mean? But they're going to know if you're missing something, but they just love it. They're so hardcore. We have a couple of Rush tribute bands in the area, and they're great, but yeah, big fans of that. And you're also said you had a bachelor's in arts and English from the University of Buffalo as well.
That's right.
And you're also a bachelor of music and violin performance. Just amazing. What else is going on with you? What's on the horizon? Are you putting together new shows or new music, or what else is happening?
Yes, actually, the Fems of Rock is back touring, almost at the same level of touring we were at prior to the pandemic. So we are expanding the show. We're always adding new arrangements to the show. But I would say the biggest thing on the horizon for me is after I put out Eruption, everyone was like, there's no other thing you can possibly do that's a cover that's going to top that now. That's like that's
right.
Gonna do for cover things. And
right.
So step for me is original music, and I have been planning this out for some time. I have a backlog of songs that I started writing at probably 12 or 13 years old that I will revisit, many different styles of music. And I think that everything that I learned covering my favorite guitar players will be kind of, meshed together to form my own style in a way. And so that's kind of what you can expect to hear out of some of this music, that hopefully by the end of this year, I'll be getting it released.
Excellent. So you're working on that now, putting that together. Is it going to be a Fems of Rock type of project, or just your own type of thing?
This will be a solo project. It'll be original music, and it'll be a solo project. I mean, that's not to say that if some of them go over really well, that we won't add something to the Fems of Rock show, a Nina D feature in the show. But the show, I really wanted to feature everybody. I didn't want to be have it be my show with a bunch of backing musicians. So I give all of the string players solos to shine on, and I give all of the band members a time where they can kind of shine too. So it's not really just about me. The show is really about all of the musicians on stage, who are all great musicians. Our rhythm section is comprised of Blue Man Group musicians, drummer and guitar player. Our string players have toured with major names like Rod Stewart and Adele, and, perform with people like that on the Billboard Music Awards. So everybody has a career in their own right, and they're very talented musicians. And in the Fems of Rock show, I like to have everybody kind of featured equally in the show. I do most of the talking just because I think I'm the craziest on the microphone, but musically, everybody gets a chance to do their thing.
Very, very cool. What do you think about the change that's going on in rock? So it's kind of, there's kind of been a big change in where rock is headed and how it's kind of the newer stuff that's coming out. It's a little bit of mixture of stuff. I always tell people, right? It's a little bit of hard rock. It's a little bit of dance. It's even a little bit of country now in some of the songs. And if you can like live in multiple worlds, you know, a la Jelly Roll or some of these other folks, you know, you have such a diverse audience. What do you think of that mixture, and where do you think that's headed?
I think that we are, you know, it's a double-edged sword. There are good things and bad things about living in the time frame that we're in. On one hand, you can say, well, on the large mass-produced music scale, guitars are out, rock bands are out.
Right.
It's a pop world now, you know, or it's an EDM world, it's a DJ world. It's not really a rock world anymore for the large scale of things. But that's not the other thing that's different is we don't need to be on a label anymore. So you don't need to like spend thousands and tens of thousands of dollars to go record an album in a recording studio and then just pray that a label picks you up to help promote your career. I could do this for, you know, a $200 software on Logic on my computer in my home studio, and I could put out a very quality product that you would have had to go to a fancy studio and spend a lot of money to do, you know, 30, 40, 50 years ago, something like that. And in terms of getting the promotion that a label could get you, well, if it works out that way where I collaborate with a label, that's one thing, but I don't need one because I'm building my followers on social media organically with everything else that I'm doing. By putting out these little snippets of my cover videos, I'm gaining fans. And so I feel like we're in a good situation because of that. So the fact that rock isn't what's selling more than any other genre of music right now, I don't think it's such a bad thing. And I think people are ready for something different at this point. So maybe with what I'm doing, it's going to be something that's just unique enough to bring it back with a twist, kind of.
Yeah, definitely. I do see it coming back, and I do see it evolving into different things. And I think you're so right about the recording aspect. The one thing I think is missing, if anybody does get signed now, there's no time to grow that band or work with that band at all. You know what I mean? There's no development for an artist. If it's a new artist that are coming to record, they don't have any time. It's like, okay, we're going to give you a couple songs. If those don't work, you guys are out. You know, they don't get the chance to put out one or two albums and see what happens, you know, nowadays anyway. But like you said, it's not really even needed at this point. You know, there's so many different avenues to go through. You know, playlists and streaming and things like that. You get into that rotation and you grow, like you said, you grow your fan base organically. And that's what I always tell all the bands is, you know, you have to have your followers, you have to have your fans, you know, if you're putting on a good product, that's great, but you have to grow your audience.
Right. And I think, you know, 50 years ago, it was kind of about the album. It was about putting out an album and having this artwork and this whole product that was related to the album.
I miss those days myself. Yeah.
And I think nowadays we miss that experience of getting an album and immersing yourself in it and having it be cohesive like that. Nowadays, it's kind of more about the YouTube video, I think. More importantly than a cohesive album, it's important that when you put out a single that you have an accompanying video for it, a video on YouTube or on whatever social media, and that you can get out reels, you know, short clips of your video to send people to the long form video where they can then, and the thing is, you can make any money streaming. You know, if extremely famous people are not making much money streaming, how are the rest of us supposed to make money streaming? So you kind of still have to tour. That's the thing. To make money in music, yes, you can blow up on social media. You can get your original music out there. You still got to tour it. You still have to get people to come see you to buy a ticket for what you're doing, or you can get your music placed somewhere in movies or in commercials or things like that. But I think it really does come down to getting an original album out, even if it's in the non-traditional sense of the virtual world, and then touring the original music with the fan base that I'm going to continue to build on social media the way I have been doing.
Yeah, and you have a very, original product, definitely for sure. I can't think of any other artists who are putting together the type of thing that you guys are doing at all. And I think it's fabulous.
There's a few violinists out there who have kind of paved their own way, and like Lindsay Sterling has been extremely successful in a different genre than what I do. Her music is a little bit more, I would say, like pop or even dubstep or some of it EDM sounding, classical crossover music. And she's combined dancing with violin playing, and she's been really successful doing so. So there's a few here and there violinists who have become successful like that. I think what I'm doing is definitely different. It's a completely different type of music and a different style of performing than that. And so we'll see where it goes on an instrument that's typically not thought of in metal or rock music.
Yeah, definitely not at all. And like you were saying earlier, it fascinates me, like the different areas in the country, what type of style of music is more prevalent, be it like DJ or dance. You'll go to some areas, maybe in southern areas or other areas, and it's more harder rock, things like that, classic rock. But it's just weird. You go to whatever area. Oh, rock may be huge here, and you go to this other area, and it's all they just want dance or they want DJ or things like that. That's the popular things. That's what's happening in the clubs or whatever that's going on. It's just so strange to me how that you can go over a couple states and it's totally different, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Very, very cool. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. This has been amazing. I look forward to, all your new music. If folks want to know more about you, where should they check you out?
Well, they can go to our website at femsofrock.com. They can also find me at Nina M. DiGregorio on most of my social medias. Just make sure you follow the verified pages because there's a lot of fake imposter, scammer accounts pretending to be me out there. But all of my tour dates, you can find them there. You can keep up on what I'm doing from day to day and watch all of my videos on social media. There's a lot of them out there now. And we'll be probably coming to the Buffalo area this summer. I would say June or July sometime. We're working on a couple different opportunities right now. So if people are in the Buffalo area and want to see me play live, homecoming, go Bills. Just keep an eye out on my socials or on the website for when that date becomes available.
Excellent. We so look forward to that, and I won't miss it this time. Thank you so much. Keep us in the loop on what's going on with your new music. We'd love to check it out.
Awesome. Thank you so much.